Today's episode of Voiced is from r/TIFU and is about a shawl that caused more than just a fashion faux pas. What could possibly go wrong with a simple piece of clothing? Subscribe if you enjoy. I messed up by wearing a shawl, which ruined my relationship with my girlfriend. Minor background: I am a pretty affectionate and at times effeminate dude. I'm 6'2" and have a pretty tough guy background in that I was in special forces a while ago, and my roommates all served as well. But I also have thin wrists and sit on my friends' laps and blow kisses to them and stuff. I'm not gay, I just am me. So while I was in a shop with a roommate a few weeks ago, he saw these really cool shawls that we both couldn't get out of our heads. He returned last weekend to buy them, and now we have these shawls. Mine makes me look like a Star Wars character, and his looks like the outlaw Josie Wales. These are seriously awesome shawls. The first night we wore them, everybody at the dive bar we went to, guys, thought they were awesome as well. Then this girl and her friend arrive on invite from Shawl bro, and they are seriously turned off by our sweet shawls, like acting pretty weird about them and making comments. Whatever. So I get a call from my girlfriend. She's tired and wants to hang out at mine, and so I bid these mean girls and Shawl bro adieu and head home. I'm still wearing the shawl when my girlfriend arrives, and she's also really taken aback. She won't even kiss me until I take it off. We get down to business and go to sleep, and the next morning, she starts asking me if I'm gay. And she's really serious and aggressive about it. I tell her I'm not, that if I was, I'd definitely know by now, and she counters with her major evidence of the fact that I own a shawl. Anyway, she gets weird and leaves, and then sends me a text later about how she's sorry and that she needs to think about what kind of man she wants, and then doesn't contact me for days. So yesterday, I invite her out. She's stumbling over her words and talking about how she likes tough guys and how she grew up in the South and needs to get used to the big city, but that she doesn't know this or that. And eventually, I just tell her very politely to leave me alone, because I'm pretty insulted by this point. On the way back, now that I'm not directly in front of her, I get this long apologetic text from her. But the crux of it is that, yeah, she's just not that into me anymore, because I wore a shawl. Later on, I told Shawl bro about this, and he also had a big argument with the girl he was seeing over his shawl that very same night we went out. We are both going to keep wearing the shawls, though. They are warm. My friend and I bought cursed shawls, and now we are single. She is a nice girl. She's just not picking up what I'm putting down. It's a silly thing to be mad about. And by popular demand, it's shawl over for you all. Shawl bro. Wow, talk about a shawl turning into a relationship wrecker. Who would have thought that a simple piece of fabric could cause such a rift? It's amazing how something so small can have such a big impact. Now, let's switch gears to another story that takes a dark turn after a night out. This time, it's not about fashion choices, but rather a series of events that lead to some serious consequences. So this didn't happen today, but last weekend. Finally getting around to really processing it all, and I guess trying to deal with it. Went out for drinks with my girlfriend and met up with my younger cousin at the bar. We'd all hung out once before and had a great time. My cousin invited a couple of her friends to the bar too. We did some bar hopping. I got extremely intoxicated, pretty unintentionally. The last bar was, I swear, not putting any mixers in my cocktails. They were straight alcohol. So anyway, we're about to leave, and my cousin's friends are trying to get her home, because she's extremely intoxicated too. Well, my girlfriend was our designated driver, so we offered to let her stay in our spare room. Everyone was cool with that, because who's safer than family, right? Wrong. We get home, and I had to piece together some of this later because I blacked out for most of it. Apparently, initially, everything was cool. My cousin went to the spare room, and my girlfriend got her situated. The problem started a little later when I, in my infinite wisdom, decided to walk straight out of my bedroom with my girlfriend in it and into my cousin's room. I don't particularly remember much except for two details, which I guess are not important to the story. Well, okay, so one might be. I remember her giving me a very enthusiastic blowjob, which, as you can imagine, makes a lot of noise. Apparently, after a while, my girlfriend came out of the room wondering where I was because I just disappeared. She didn't barge into the room or anything, but she heard the noises, which is pretty obvious. So at that point, she left me. Like, me. She left me, and I don't blame her. Anyway, that means I wake up the next morning, having blacked out, oblivious that my girlfriend was gone already, but I am naked next to my naked cousin. There is semen all over the bed where her face was. She didn't even sleep with a pillow. There's obviously no hiding this, but I'm still half drunk, and I went to try to sneak back into my room, which I found empty. So yeah, I haven't heard from my girlfriend all week, and I'm sure we're done, and I don't blame her. All I can hope for now is that this mess doesn't get out to my family, because I would probably implode. No, my cousin and I are not going to start hooking up regularly. It's actually super awkward, and she has hardly said a word to me either. Again, I don't blame her. Drunkenly slept with my cousin, ruined my relationship, family might hear about it. Wow, that's quite the story. It's amazing how one night can completely change the course of your life. But let's shift gears now, because family dynamics can get just as complicated in different ways. Speaking of which, let's dive into a situation where boundaries are being tested and tempers are flaring. AITA for telling my wife that the lock on my daughter's door will not be removed until my brother-in-law and his daughters are out of our house. My brother-in-law, Sammy, lost his home shortly after his divorce 10 months ago. He moved in with us and brought his twin daughters, Olivia and Sloane, 18, with him a couple of months ago. His sister, my wife, and I have one daughter, Zoe, a 16-year-old female, and she and her cousins aren't close but get along fine. Olivia and Sloane have no respect for Zoe's privacy. None. They used to walk into her room and take everything they got their hands on: makeup, phone accessories, clothes, school laptop, etc. Zoe complained a lot, and I've already asked the girls to respect Zoe's privacy and stop taking things. My wife and Sammy saw no issue with this. After all, they're girls, and this is typical teenage girl behavior. I completely disagreed. Last straw was when Zoe bought a $60 MAC makeup kit that looks like a paint set that she saved up for over a month, and one of the girls, Sloane, took it without permission and ruined it by mixing shades together while using it. I don't know much about makeup, but that's what Zoe said when she found the kit on her bed and was crying. I told my wife, and she said she would ask Sloane to apologize. But I got Zoe a lock after I found that she was moving her valuable belongings out of the house because of this incident. Sammy and his daughters saw the lock and weren't happy. The girls were extremely upset. Sammy asked about it, and I straight up told him. He said, "My daughters aren't thieves. It's normal that girls of the same age borrow each other's stuff." He said Zoe could easily get another makeup kit for $15 from Walmart and shouldn't even be buying expensive adult makeup in the first place, and suggested my wife take care of this defect in Zoe's personality, trying to appear older than she is. He accused me of being overprotective and babying Zoe with this level of enabling. I told him that this is between me and my wife, but she shamed me for putting a lock on Zoe's door for her cousins to see and preventing them from spending time with her, saying I was supposed to treat them like daughters. Then she demanded I remove it, but I said this lock does not get removed until her brother and his daughters are out of our house. She got mad. I was implying that we kick them out, and said her family will hate me for this. So, I reminded her that I let Sammy and his family move in, which is something her own family refused to do. She should start by shaming or blaming them for not taking their own son and niece's granddaughters in. If it wasn't for her family's unwillingness to help, we wouldn't be dealing with this much disturbance at home. Everyone has been giving me and Zoe the silent treatment, and my wife is very upset about this. Before I talk about today's posts, please consider subscribing to stay updated on more engaging content like this. Alright, so let's dive into these Reddit posts. First up, we have a guy who bought a shawl that ended up ruining his relationship with his girlfriend. I mean, who would have thought a simple piece of cloth could cause such drama? It's hilarious and sad at the same time. And then there's the post about the cousin incident talk about a nightmare scenario. Drunken mistakes can lead to some serious consequences, and this guy definitely learned that the hard way. Lastly, we have a family drama over a door lock. Privacy is important, especially for teenagers, but it seems like this situation has escalated pretty quickly. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these posts in the comments below. Which one resonates with you the most? Let's discuss and share our reactions. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more content just like this. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Voiced. If you enjoyed daily high-quality stories, please like and subscribe to show your support.